Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
The blood washed away, but the guilt never does. Welcome to Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi, featuring psychotherapist and author Shavaun Scott.
It's not I shot the sheriff, it's the sheriff shot the judge. In this case, Kentucky Sheriff Shawn Mickey Stines being charged with the murder of longtime friend and colleague District Judge Kevin Mullins. It's something that shocked this small Kentucky community. These two were tight. They were personal friends. They went out for lunch together. Even the very day of the murder, they went out for lunch together. People saw them hanging out all of the time, which is kind of how it works in a small community like this. So for the sheriff on camera in the judge's chambers to go from a discussion to pulling out his service revolver and ending the life of the judge, something big had to have happened. And all we know right now, as of this recording, is that a phone number on the judge's phone seemed to have matched that of the sheriff's daughter. Why was her number on the phone? And I have a hard time believing that that was the only motivation for him to pull out a gun and shoot the judge. I'm assuming there was more to this story. Joining me to discuss, Shavaun Scott, psychotherapist and author. What do you make of this? This is a sheriff who doesn't really have a track record of, violent behavior or anything of that nature. Really just, everyday normal human beings, as we would assume, and from all accounts, healthy, normal human beings as well. If you were to analyze that and give your conjecture, what would you be saying took place here?
It is so weird, and I watched the video on the news and YouTube with the actual shooting, and you want to talk somebody who just looked like he had a very clear agenda. He was going to kill that judge. And so, yeah. And then the daughter connection, we're trying to decide what was going on with that. And then he made some kind of comment as he was being taken away and arrested about they were trying to kidnap my wife and kid, which is weird. Again, yeah. What is he referring to? So one of the places my mind went, did this guy have a paranoid psychotic break? Yeah. Did he in some way have a brain problem where he created this fantasy that something awful was happening and his family was in danger and he became this protector of his family? That certainly crossed my mind. Or is there some kind of secret, trafficking or sex ring going on that the judge was involved in, which would be weird, There's going to be a movie about that if that turns out to be the case. But it's hard to come up with something other than those two scenarios for me.
I guess what's more likely to have occurred here? I mean, obviously the judge, we don't know what took place, but his name is being drawn through the mud with the accusations of, was there something going on with his daughter? We don't know. We just don't know the answer to that. And the answer could be no. It could be absolutely nothing at all. Mm-hmm. If the daughter's phone number was in the judge's phone, kind of weird. It just kind of depends the dynamics. You have to look at the context of it all. Yeah. Was there a reason? Do they have kids that are the same age? Sometimes parents will have other kids' numbers in their phone to find out where the hell their kids are. There are logical reasons that are not perverse or sexual as to why that number could be there. And if one was having some sort of psychotic break and they're looking for the evidence and they find the number there, that's the evidence. That could be a possibility, or there could have been something going on. We just don't know. So again, I ask you, what's more likely here?
First place my brain took me was psychotic break, because of course I've worked so much with psychotic people, and you can have a person who is not necessarily schizophrenic, they're functioning very well in their lives, but then something goes wrong at 40 or even into their 50s. It's not common, but it does happen. And they develop these paranoid delusions and they believe them completely, and it affects their behavior, and they end up in the criminal justice system. So that's where my mind took me, as I would certainly be looking at him and interviewing very closely to see what is going on in his thinking pattern, and are there abnormal things happening here.
Would it have been a very fast break? Would it have been a, like, over lunch, just something clicked weird and wrong, and then the break happened? Or would this likely have been more of a kind of a slow build, one we would have not necessarily have seen? Maybe the judge was kind of like, what's going on with my buddy over here? Like, he's kind of acting weird. You know, it slowly, insidiously happens. Is that more likely how this would have occurred, and then it just crescendoed? Or could it have been, you know, he had a bad crouton at lunch?
Yeah.
It's something.
No, it probably would have been building over days or even weeks, and it wouldn't necessarily have had to have been building for months, but something happened, something went wrong. It could be an organic problem in his head, and it just gradually amplified, and then he built this delusion. Could have been that. And
that's what I'm wondering, especially with the comments that we heard about they're trying to kidnap my wife and kids. That's the one. If that had not been made, I don't know where I'd be going on this, but that seems to be interesting. Now, it also doesn't necessarily mean it's a delusion. I think we need to figure out, is there some legitimacy to this? Is there a reason why he's saying something of that nature? Because we've seen stranger things. That's something that I'm sure we're going to find out more about. The attorney saying it was extreme emotional distress that he was under. I'm sure we'll find that out soon. But, I mean, how does that read to you when they make a statement like that?
Yeah, that there is some factor that we're not aware of. And I would guess that a conversation with Sheriff at this point, that it would become clear. So hopefully it won't be too big of a mystery, and whatever's going on, either the secret trafficking ring involving a judge, or that, you know, the guy had a stroke or had some kind of problem that affected his brain organically that caused this.
Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
You're in the thick of a true crime saga, every detail sinking in, and then, wham, a commercial about something you couldn't care less about. It's like being served a microwaved dinner at a 5-star restaurant. But it doesn't have to be this way. Go for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. With True Crime Today Premium Plus, you get uninterrupted, ad-free episodes, extended interviews that dig even deeper into the muck, and early access so you can brag to your friends. It's like ordering the secret menu at a crime buffet. So, search for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts, subscribe, and savor every twisted detail without interruption.